Hey everybody, it's Amy Astro here and welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to continue building out our RASA telescope, and today we're going to talk about a few miscellaneous topics about the RASA, but I'm also going to show you how I plan on installing the guide scope. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so last time I did a video for you guys about the dew system. I may have misled y'all and I want to straighten that up right now. Now this dew shield is made of aluminum. It will dent. It could come off during travel. It is not recommended to be traveling with the dew shield on. Celestron would prefer it. Really, they highly recommend that you remove this and you remove your cameras and put the original cover back on the telescope to keep everything safe and sound during travel, okay? So do not store this standing on end. I know a lot of us got used to that with our other Celestron, but we had the original cover on it and there was no camera protruding for the top. This shield will not support the weight of everything else here, so please do not stand it on end. So now that we've got this all straight, there's another thing I want to clarify here, and this happened to come in a comment from another viewer. And my complaint, well, not really complaint, my woe was the camera on the inside. I am spoiled by being able to rotate my camera to any position I want during an imaging session. And I feared because everything was tight on here, I couldn't do it. Well, a viewer straightened me out on this, and you know what? If I had read just a little bit further down in the instruction manual, it would have straightened me out also. But this ring, the retaining ring that is holding everything up, if I loosen it up slightly, okay, the ring that is holding my camera on here is not threaded to the retaining ring. It's free spinning. So now I can rotate my camera, which I would like to keep it straight up and down with the axis right here. And now I can carefully tighten up the retaining ring just like that, okay? So if I was one of those crazy folks, and y'all know I am, if I wanted to set up my Framing and Mosaic and Sequence Generator Pro or Nina, and I wanted a certain rotation of the camera on that target, I can do it. So yes, I can rotate my camera, okay? Now here's another thing that I found out when I read the instructions. Go figure, these instructions are actually very helpful. Now if I'm going to spin this around gently, and let's look at the back of this. There's a plug on the back, and I had another box inside the big box with the telescope. So let me show you what this is all about. All right, so inside this box came a battery pack, which was a little confusing by that. Let's see, those don't matter for us. And this is for when I want, let's see, when I go out for the first time at night. My telescope probably has been in the house. This whole unit needs to equalize to the temperature outside. If we don't, we have different air currents on the inside that will affect our focus, and we don't want that. So really, do not plan on taking this thing out an hour after sunset, setting up, and then start taking your pictures right away. You need to equalize the temperature all the way down. Well, Celestron included a battery pack with a plug, and you plug this in, and this is a fan. This will help cool things a little bit faster or warm things up. It actually pulls the outside air in and helps equalize everything. And this thing holds, it looks like 8 AA batteries. You just rest it down here, let the fan run for about an hour before you're ready to image. And when you're ready to start imaging, remove this, okay? The fan does not need to run while you're imaging. So just take this off and start your running. So now that we've covered all of those things, what you're probably here for is wanting to know, how am I going to handle guiding with this? Now, because I'm taking very short images, I don't really need to guide. My mount should be good enough to get me a 1-minute image without guiding. Old habits die hard. I'm going to try to guide because I'm curious, how long of an image can I take before I just blow the whole thing out? Or how short of an image I can take? I don't know yet. I haven't tried it. And I got to try it. You know me. So I was looking at this last week and I was trying to decide, how was I going to mount my guide scope? Now, there are 6 screws along the back end here. And when I was reading the manual, it said these were for a finder scope. And I started digging in my toolbox, and let me show you what I found. All right, I found one of these dovetail holders that I had on another telescope, and it lined up just fine. But the thing is my guide scope is really kind of hefty. This is the Altair Astro 60mm scope with their camera on the back, and it's heavy. And this has one single screw holding everything together. So do I want to trust this heavy scope with one screw hanging off the edge of something? No, I don't think that's real smart. I think I'll add some vibrations in here and flexure and the risk of breaking a perfectly good telescope. So here's what I came up with. Now, I know this is not new to y'all. In fact, it's brand new to me because I need to open it. Hold on. All right, so now we're doing an opening box thing here. Let's open this up. I got online, I started seeing what other people were doing. And they were mounting another dovetail bar across the top. So I went to all the usual manufacturers and I chose the one that had it in stock. And that was High Point Scientific. Okay. Now I've got some mounting screws in here and I have a new dovetail. Now I chose to stick with the Celestron brand orange, everything matches, and it was designed specifically, this is for the RASA 8, to mount right across the top here. So I'm going to install that today, and notice they match nicely here. And guess what I'm going to do? You probably guessed it. All right, that guide scope is not going to fit comfortably on these rails. I mean, look at the size of these things. But you know who has something really cool that will? Well, Farpoint Astro. They make these rings on a dovetail style clamp, and the whole thing, once I loosen it up here, will slide right on this rail and tighten up anywhere I want it to be. Now, how slick is that? Now, I chose the 90mm rings because that's what will fit the guide scope that I plan on using. I'll mount both of these on here, and yeah, we're gonna get this thing all set up and mounted right across the top there. And it's gonna look really, really slick. So again, I got these from Farpoint Astro. They make them here in the USA. They do everything. And I'll tell you what, they have become my go-to place anytime I needed some kind of adapter or gadget to make things work. So they're not only great for the JMI wheelie bars, they make some other cool stuff too. So y'all go check them out. But let's get this stuff mounted to the telescope. All right, folks, so I figured it'd be a little bit easier for me to work on this on my desktop here rather than trying to do it over there on the mount where you couldn't really see what I was doing, okay? So we're gonna zoom in and I'm gonna show you what we're about to do. All right, so on top of the RASA, we have the camera side over here, and I've got the back end where the fan and the focus are back here. And here I've got 2 sets of screws on each side, and those are for your finder scopes or your TBAIC or whatever you're going to use. And then there's 2 screws in the center here that I've already removed, and those are for us to mount the dovetail plate on. Now take special care to keep these screws, maybe store them in the box in case you ever need them again, okay? Because they're really nice and they're, you know, they're coated in black and everything. But what I want to do is I'm going to take this dovetail plate and I'm going to line up the holes here with the 2 holes on top of the telescope. And I'm going to be very gentle with this, all right? So that, and actually, because of the curvature on this, it just kind of, it wants to sit exactly where those holes are. That's really great. Okay, and here's another thing that I'm just now realizing. The screws on the camera side are larger than the screws on the fan side. All right, I'm learning something new every day thanks to instructions. All right, so I don't see any real difference between these other than this side is more elongated and this side just has holes in it. And it looks like the elongated side goes towards the camera. So I had that part right. And the small side goes towards the back end. So now I can put these together and hopefully get this started now. I'm going to take the smaller one here, which needs a different wrench. Can somebody explain to me why it seems like I have a standard side and a metric side? Because the M5, that's definitely metric, and this is 8x32, that's a standard. I don't understand why they use 2 different ones. So if you know, leave me a comment down in the bottom because I'm really curious about that. I just like to know, you know, there's got to be a reason for everything. I'm kind of curious about that. So that's on nice and sturdy. Now I'm going to put in my scope rings here that are going to clamp onto this rail. Remember, I got these from Farpoint. And considering how I'm about to mount this, I would think they'd like to turn their logo upside right. So, because you know I'm not going to mount it at the bottom of the scope. So let's just slide a set of rings on here. I'm just going to anchor these down here for right now. And they sent me these screws here that will go in here. And notice they've got that nice little, like a nylon tip on them, so they won't scar up your telescope, which is always good. And they do offer 3 different sizes of screws. They tell you when you buy these, the standard ones, the medium-sized ones, they come with this, but if you wanted the shorter ones or the extra long ones, you just got to let them know in the comments when you buy it. So that's quite helpful. Let's put the second set on. And they're just going to slide on here. All right, that was easy enough. Now it's the fun part. I got to take all of this apart out of the original ones, which was really cool. It's a nice and red. Kind of clashes with the orange. That's just me. I like colors. And you know, crazy enough, red is my favorite color. Well, one of my favorite colors. All right, see if I can slide this out. Take the cap off. There you go, de-ringed. And now this is just gonna slide in here, which seems just completely backwards to me, considering my camera's on this end. And I am going to, let's see, we'll get it to mount. I guess I should probably mount it here so I'm on the body, because this side here is where I'm gonna be doing my focusing. Now last time I used this, it should still be in pretty close focus. So I'm gonna try to tighten this up. And when I get out in the field, I will adjust these some more because I like to have the guide scope pretty close to what I'm imaging. And I will work it so that it's gonna be angled down just a little bit. So I'll probably line up on something like Jupiter right now. It'd be real easy. If I can get Jupiter in the middle here, I will try to get Jupiter in the middle here or somewhere within that frame. Okay. But for right now, I'll just try to get somewhat level. And when I say that, reach up here. I do have a little level here. And I use that as my guide. That's going to be too high. Bring it down. Bring it to right there. At least I know when I'm starting that I'm in a somewhat level position. Now, as far as wobbling back and forth, I don't really know, but that's okay. Oh, get down there. All right. That looks good. Tighten all those up. No, the first time I go out in the field with this, I'll be readjusting all of this. In fact, I guide very well using this telescope in general, so I'm real happy with this. It's the Altair Astro 60mm scope with their 130M camera on the back. So now that I've got this assembled, and this is how I'm going to guide, I still have a little bit of territory here to mount something up top. Got any ideas what I'm going to mount? I know you do. Now, one of the other little goodies they sent me here was the Smart Dew Heater Controller 2X right in here. And I thought about mounting it on the bottom where I see a lot of folks mounting things, but reality is I can't keep my mount set up all the time. It just takes up too much space in my little room, and right now I am tripping over everything. So I am going to mount it up top here. Now, I've seen that there's options here, and I do love having options, and they thought this out pretty well because I can mount this to the legs of the tripod. I can mount it up top, I can mount it at the bottom, and all that good stuff, and it's got the same rail, so it's pretty slick. Let's see. There we go, and this side comes out, so it'll just clamp right on. But I think in another video, we're gonna get into how to run this guy. So that's something to look forward to, because I'm sure there's something I have to install on my computer. But for right now, I'm going to hang it on here. So I could get it up there, and I could probably, if I snug this up, it's going to cause me problems getting focus in here. So I'm going to have to leave this hanging off. But here's another thought process here. What if I left it off down here and my mini PC? Now, I'm going to go back to the TBAIC. This is a great guy. He's a bit bigger than the other mini PCs that I've been using, but this one has the extra 1 terabyte SSD card in it. So I really like that. It's got the extra USB ports. It's lightweight. It's a chunky monkey. And I'm wondering if that chunky monkey here, there we go. What happens if I find a way to mount him up there? Now that's pretty slick, guys. I'm liking this already because now I can get all of my cabling and I can stash it in here. And yeah, I'm kind of liking how this is going. So guys, how do you think this is building up? Is it starting to look like an Amy Astro special, rig style? I think this is where we're going to leave it here today. Next time we're going to pick up, we're going to, let's see, we've got to add the focus motor on here still. We've got to wire everything up, get power to it, and we're closing in on first light, okay? So thankfully, I don't think I need to order anything online. I should have all the parts I need, so we're almost there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all those great things. Share with your Astro friends. The more views I get, of course, the more money I get. you know, and that means I can do more because the household budget is kind of tapped out these days, but I still want to buy things for this really cool setup. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys when you take the time to watch my videos. Thank you to all the new subscribers over there on Patreon. I hope you like what you're seeing. I did upload some new things this week. So slowly but surely we are getting some stuff up there. And a special thank you to those who sent me donations that were a complete surprise over there on my website. Thank you. It really helps me. I do appreciate it. It helps me offset the cost of this adventure and everything. But also, thank you to Celestron for sending me this terrific gear. And yeah, I'm just blown away by everybody. Well guys, I'm Amy Astro. I will see you all in the next video. And I'm wishing you guys great health, clear skies, and I love each and every one of y'all. Goodbye, y'all.